If your brand is just a logo, then I'm sorry, but you don't actually have a brand. You have a graphic. Most brands fail because they just have a logo and they never actually built a brand. A logo designer can make something look good, but a brand designer goes above and beyond with these extra steps. So in this video, I'm going to explain the difference between a logo and a brand identity. So the misunderstanding of a logo being a brand is because nowadays social media makes everything so easy. For example, free designing software like Canva has become extremely easy to access and many brands use it. Although it has some good features, it's pretty surface level and it's going to be detrimental to your brand. Since it's so easy, it shapes the mind of new brand owners to just start posting. So they have an easy to use software which ends up getting them a quick logo. You may have been taught to start with a logo, when in reality the logo comes last. Logos are big parts of the brand, which is why you need deep strategy behind it to get it right. If you start with a logo, then you end up guessing with the rest of your brand later, which will cause huge loss in profit. Most people think a brand is what something looks like, but the brand is actually what something means. A brand is the perception that people have of your business when you're not in the room. It's the feeling someone gets when they land on your website or find you on social media, or it could even be when someone mentions your brand name. Your brand is why someone trusts you, why someone remembers you, or why someone should choose your brand over other potential options. And the logo doesn't create that on its own. A real successful brand is built from these 4 things: strategy, positioning, messaging, and visual identity. The logo is just the symbol that represents those decisions. Or in other words, a logo is what people see, but the brand is what they believe and resonate with. And this isn't about calling logo designers bad. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to explain the limitations. Logo designers are typically hired before any decision making happens, which isn't right, because then you're hiring someone to design with no clear target audience, without clear positioning, clear business goals, or any market research. So what happens? The logo designer is then hired based off personal taste, trends, what the client thinks they want, and the designer's personal bias. And that's when you start to hear, this doesn't feel right, or can we try another concept, or sooner down the line the brand wants to rebrand already. The issue isn't the logo's quality, and typically it's not the logo designer's fault, because the brand owner doesn't know any better either. It's that the logo was never connected to a strategy. And when you hire a logo designer, you shouldn't have to do the strategy for them. But a brand identity designer includes that in their package. And without a brand system, the logo gets used inconsistently, social media posts look random, new marketing feels disconnected, the brand never builds recognition or trust, which again leads to profit loss. When the decisions of the design aren't strategic, they're subjective, and that's where the brands fall apart. So now you might be wondering, what do brand designers actually do? Well, they start with strategy before the design. They design systems instead of one single asset. They align visuals with positioning and the audience psychology. They create consistency across every touch point, and they build brands that scale. Brand designers don't just make things look good, they make it make sense too. Strategic brand identity design, or SBID, is about solving problems with design, not just decorating a brand. With SBID, design doesn't start in Illustrator. It starts with thinking and planning. SBID focuses on research before visuals, storytelling before style, and systems before assets. So instead of asking, what should my logo look like, SBID asks, who are we trying to attract? What do we want to be known for? How do we want people to feel? And what makes us different in this market? Visual identity doesn't get built until those answers are clear. And that's why SBID creates stronger brand clarity, better alignment across platforms, less redesigns, brands that actually scale, and consistency. Logo design is a deliverable, whereas strategic brand identity design is a process. We're entering a time where a logo may seem easy, and AI can generate a symbol in seconds. I talked about why that's a misconception in my last video. You can go check it out. Visuals alone no longer create advantage. What can't be automated is strategy, positioning, human understanding, and brand meaning. That's why brands that only focus on visuals blend in, even if they look good. From 2026 and on, markets are oversaturated, attention spans are shorter, and trust is harder to earn. Brands don't win by looking nice. They win by communicating a message to the right people. Strategic brand identity design works because it gives brands direction, it creates consistency, and it builds recognition over time. The future isn't logo design. The future is strategic brand identity design, because brands don't need another graphic. They need a brand system that works. So for all the brand owners out there, or people that are planning to build a brand in the future, if you're asking for a logo, you're asking the wrong question. The real question is, how do you want your brand to be perceived? And if you're serious about building your brand, start with strategy. And you can start with my website in the description, leave a comment if this was useful, and subscribe for more.